to Blizzcon 2015. How you guys doing? All right, guys, welcome to the Art and Craft of Cosplay panel. You guys, thank you so much for coming out and showing us your support. It means the world to us. We have some amazing content to share with you guys, so I'm just gonna jump right into it with the introductions. My name is Kiki Day. I am a quality assurance trainer for StarCraft 2 and Heroes of the Storm. Some of you guys know me as Doom&Gloom Princess Cosplay, or that crazy chick that dressed up like a lumpy space alien last year. That was me. And you guys, this is such a special moment for me. 5 years ago was my very first convention, BlizzCon 2010, and my very first cosplay, so thank you so much. But this isn't about me. I'm going to introduce you to my amazing panelists that you see right here behind me. First up, Rachel Day. You guys know her as Raylina Cosplay. Next we have the oh-so-talented Lorraine Torres. You guys know her as Rainya Cosplay. The fabulous Jordan Duncan of Henchman Props and Cosplay. And finally, she came all the way from Texas with a gorilla in tow, the amazing Allison Trin of Aerolens Cosplay and Design. All right, you guys, like I said before, we're just gonna jump right into it. To get us kicked off to talk about Blizzard, cosplay, and the community is Rachel Day.
Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Enjoying BlizzCon? Yeah? Yeah, all right. So a little bit more about me. I'm an effects artist on Overwatch currently, previously of Diablo 3. I have been cosplaying since 2007, right here at BlizzCon. Really into it the last couple of years, so the fact that you're all here is just so exciting. BlizzCon, can I just be biased for a second? BlizzCon might just be the best cosplay community out there. Yeah. So Blizzard, we love cosplay. We love it so much that we have a costumers group. And what this is we all share our talent and time together. We teach each other Cosplay 101 classes. We do a lot of new techniques and tips and tricks and stuff together. Really tight-knit community. We even share photos that we find of the community a lot, so please keep sending them. Beyond that, we really like Halloween at Blizzard, so we get pretty into it. You might see costumes from your favorite Disney princesses, some pretty epic movies, even our own games, and some of you may have seen this Khal Drogo around the internet. That was a homegrown Blizzard costumer right there. So, but we're here to talk about BlizzCon. These are a few employee costumers, cosplayers that you may have seen around. So we get super into it. Really, really epic stuff here. All of these are employees. We dedicate our time to cosplay just as much as you do. Okay. You guys see what that says? It's a decade. We've been doing this for a decade. We've been a community for a decade here. So let's take a little trip down memory lane, per se. Where did we start? We started here. I think we set the bar pretty high starting here. So in 2007, got a little more epic. Some groups started to form, it's pretty great. 2008, we saw our first epic mount. But there's something else that happened in 2008 that I think just makes the difference. And that was the very first BlizzCon group photo. And that, yeah, it's freaking awesome, 2008. And that's one of my favorite traditions that we have here at BlizzCon now. So 2009, it got a little bit bigger. 2010, we're learning new techniques, new materials are coming out. See some familiar faces in here. 2011, even bigger. 2013, we had to move from the first location to the second one just so we could add more people in. 2014, even bigger. Was anybody out there yesterday? 2015, look at this. This is insane, this is amazing. I can't believe we actually fit everybody in that one photo. That was amazing. Well done, you guys. Sorry, I missed my intro here.
The first time I saw someone cosplay something that I had made for a video game was pretty awesome.
We've always had this anticipation of seeing all the cosplay come to life.
And I saw somebody had posted their in progress, and I just I had a complete freak out. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
It's one of the highlights of me being an artist.
You make something and you don't expect somebody to do fan art of it, but when they do, it's just awesome. It's super incredible.
Best way to say thank you for character artists is creating, of course, fan art or cosplay as a form of fan art. The thing about cosplay community, there is always something crazy.
Any of the ones where it takes like a rig and multiple people to use.
Somebody is working on a Winston, and the cosplayer is totally not, it's not a gorilla.
I really liked the Abathur costume from last year. Pajamathur really took me by surprise.
The Sidea costume.
This spider demon was one of the best.
She had all the legs and everything.
Cosplay has influenced my workflow in some ways because I have tried to make costumes and it's a pain.
I've done some cosplay myself. Even working with Warbla they make it look so easy online.
I try to make buckles and straps in logical places. If this piece is a separate material than this piece, then I'll make them two different pieces in the geometry. And a lot of cosplayers, they'll do that also so they can paint them different.
In the future, I would like to create characters that might be more challenging for people to cosplay.
It just inspires me. It makes me want to make something cool enough that somebody's going to love enough to actually make.
It's great to see fans put a ton of effort into stuff that we love as well. We're all fans.
I geek out. I like seeing the cosplayers do at Blizzcon.
Gets us pumped in wanting to create even cooler characters for you guys.
Keep doing it. It's the nicest form of flattery.
Keep up the hard work. Keep it up and keep making cool stuff.
Keep doing it because it just inspires the developers.
That's right. Keep it up. So those are all the character developers on the various teams. They love what you do. You're obviously inspired by the artwork that we create at Blizzard, but more so, we're inspired by you and what you do, so please keep it up. So one way that we want to support the community here on out is with cosplay kits. Have any of you guys seen the cosplay kits yet? All right. So you may have seen some character announcements over the last day or two here. And we have these cosplay kits ready for you now. So here's Lunara. Cho'Gall, anybody want to do a tandem two-headed costume? I'd love to see that. Greymane, maybe a little transformation. Could be great. May. I'm sure some of you were waiting for this one to come up. We've got Genji, our sword ninja. And this one, I want to see this happen next year. Who's making this mech? Who's doing it? There it is. Right, yeah. All right, over here. Awesome. So now to talk a little bit about how to turn these cosplay kits into reality, I'm going to let Lorraine speak with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, guys. My name is Lorraine Torres. I'm a compatibility analyst here at Blizzard Entertainment. I'm also a very long-time cosplayer. I've been making costumes for a little over a decade, and I'm very passionate about Blizzard. Most of my costumes within that time frame have actually been Blizzard related in one way or the other. So I have a question for all of you out there. How many of you have never cosplayed, have wanted to, but you don't know where to start? Oh, okay, I see hands. That's good. All right, excellent. Well, hopefully what I'm about to talk about will help you guys get started, right? Get that wheel turning so that you can make your first cosplay and really have a lot of fun doing it. So that question, where to start? Well, we start by picking your project. I know that seems like kind of obvious, right? But it can be challenging because there's so many options, right? But guys, the sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want. I've seen mage tables. I've seen achievements. I've seen monsters. I've seen Cyber-Ack. I've seen it all. So you can do whatever you want. But my recommendation, if you're starting for the first time, pick something simple. This is just so you won't overwhelm yourself on the first try and you get time to get your feet wet, familiarize yourself with the materials that are involved with cosplay. It's kind of better that way. I know that we want to all make Reinhardt and go all crazy with the big armor and look amazing, but if you can start simple, you can work your way to Reinhardt and look like a total cool person. It's going to be awesome. The next thing is something that I'm sure that you ask any cosplayer here, whether they're new or whether they are seasoned. We all do this to some degree. That's research. And guys, let me tell you, it takes time to research because before these cosplay kits existed, we had to take screen caps and we had to draw and redraw and draw some more and then scrap that and draw again. And gosh, I don't know about all of you, but for me, it takes anywhere from 1 to 3 months to get everything down packed. That's a lot of time. Not only is that a lot of time, but that's time I could be using to make a costume. So anything to save time is a good thing, right? Yeah? So let's talk about that cosplay kit. Because guys, my cosplayer buddies here, what is our most precious commodity when making a costume? What is the one thing that's our enemy when making a cosplay? Time. Exactly. Time. Guys, it's our enemy, but you know what? These cosplay kits, they save you time. Everything's right there for you. It takes just a moment to download, and months of research, and all that drawing and redrawing, reduced down, just a few seconds, boom, you have everything. If you let it, these cosplay kits can be the most powerful tool in your personal cosplay kit, your arsenal, your toolbox, You have everything you need at your fingertips and you can get started on your cosplay right away. But here's some examples of what these breakdowns look like. They're very helpful. It's what I use to create what you see me wearing right now. I mentioned time is our enemy, right? Time was my enemy with this costume as well. I was up until 5 a.m. this morning, still working on this evil contraption. And so I had to make some sacrifices and there were, things happened, but I am here wearing this thing, so yay. So you might be wondering, what do I use to make a costume? Let me stop you. Before you use anything, safety first, right? Guys, we use some of the most toxic crap in existence, right? Glues, spray paints, polymers. It smells real bad. We use hot things, we use sanding things. I have been impaled on my own sewing machine. It was painful. So you don't want that. So what I recommend is use those safety goggles, use the gloves, use the thimbles. Don't leave hot things on. Don't get tagged by your hot knife. It hurts. I can tell you, it hurts. Now, this is the cool part about cosplay. You can use everything. Everything. Every material, all the way down to duct tape and cardboard, has its merits. All right? There's no right or wrong thing to use for cosplay. And I know there's some fancy materials out there, you got Warbla and you've got resin and all these other really cool techniques, but you don't have to start with the expensive stuff. You can start with the simple stuff, right? You can make everything work for you, and that's okay, The cheap stuff is not necessarily the bad stuff. So I got cheap stuff on this costume. I have the kid craft foam, the kinds you find at Michael's. It's in here, I guarantee it. And it's awesome. I love it to death. So this is just an example of me using the kitty craft foam, because my original plan was to use the EVA foam, which is that floor mat that you see in the pictures up there. Floor mats are awesome. They're cheap, and they come in big packs, and you can heat mold them, which is really cool. Be mindful of time, which is something I'm awful at. Do not follow my example of time management. It is very bad. And it's okay to mess up. That's how we learn. And if you do mess up, it's okay. Like literally, just start over, take a deep breath. You know, I know you spent a lot of time on whatever you probably messed up on. No problem, man. Now you know what to do. This is my first helmet. It was bad. It made me look like a bobblehead. So I had to scrap this bad boy. And that was the chess piece in its original incarnation. Also very bad. It's just awful. Don't look at that. Shoot. So now we work smarter and not harder, right? Seemingly simple concept. It can sometimes go over our heads when we're making a cosplay. If you don't know how to make something, first of all, it's okay to use something that's already been fabricated. That saves you time. Remember, that's our enemy. So anything that saves you time is a good thing. The other thing that you want to do is use Google, use the internet. The internet is your best friend. There are so many tutorials out there that can help you get started. I guarantee you, if you're wondering how to do something in your head and you go and type it in Google, there's a tutorial that will tell you step by step, start to finish, how to get it done. And essentially, that's what I had to do for this costume as well. Because you know what? I'm a clothy. I mostly make cloth costumes, and I've never made armor in my life. So tutorials help me get to where I'm standing out right here with all this good stuff. So these are the legs. I had a particularly hard time working on these things. I was even down to the wire making my legs last night. So, I mean, everything's a challenge, and I'm willing to admit that even as a seasoned cosplayer. This is a chess piece after I figured out what the heck I was doing. And I'm very happy with the result. I also utilized automotive vinyl in this one. It's a surprisingly versatile product, very cheap. And some more examples here. The next thing I want to talk about here are commissions, or something I like to call outsourcing. Outsourcing is when you don't know how to make something, or you ran out of time and you know someone else who can do it better than you, and you want to pay them for it. It's a good thing, because that's what I had to do. Because guys, let's face it, I don't know how to make a gun. I don't know how to make any weapons. I'm really bad at that, and I'll admit that. So I decided to contact my buddy here, Jordan, and I was like, hey Jordan, I know you know how to do this, but you know, I need to pay you for this, so like, you know, can we get that ball rolling? And he very graciously agreed. And now I have my very fancy gun that you see sitting on the table over here. It's very nice. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys with Jordan, who's actually going to talk to you a little bit more about what went into making this gun, the materials and whatnot. So without further ado, Jordan.
Thank you. As Kiki introduced me from the start, my name is Jordan Duncan. I do prop making and fabrication, and I've been doing it, thankfully, to people like Lorraine full-time for 2 years now. And just to reiterate something she said, everything I know, everything I learned, and all the work I do, all my knowledge came from Google. I never took classes or you know, tutored under anyone. Everything I know and learned was from my own research, so if you have the drive and motivation, you can definitely do that too. So I was super excited when Lorraine approached me about this project. I grew up playing the StarCraft games, and I love Nova like everyone else does, so this was a lot of fun to make. And I'm just going to go through a brief overview of the steps and the process that went into making this gun. So, like with costumes, every project starts with research and gathering references. And again, just to reiterate, these cosplay reference kits are invaluable. Like, I can't even describe how much they will help you. Being able to see all the angles of your props and costumes and all the detail, it just breaks it down so nicely for you and saves you a ton of time. So next step, once you have these patterns, you actually have to I'll look at those references to design my patterns. And you have to plan from the start if you're going to add things like LEDs, lights. You need to plan where you're going to store your batteries, how you're going to access the batteries, where you're going to put the wires. And if you plan that from the start, it'll save you a lot of time and trouble down the road. And then for this gun in particular, I ended up molding and casting it. I did this to reduce the weight, keep it lightweight. These props are carried around all day at conventions, so you want to make it as comfortable as possible. I decided to go that route. If you're going to do that, again, you need to plan from the start how you want to do that. You can research different molding and casting techniques, and it'll just help you again to plan that in advance, to know how you want to do it. It'll affect how you build your prop, so you gotta plan ahead. I use Illustrator for my patterns and templates. It's a great resource, a great program. And as you can see here, I broke the gun down in layers from the center out. And then all assembled, this is what the pattern looks like, all layered. The great thing about Adobe Illustrator is you can port those templates and send them to laser cutters to get your pieces cut out. If you don't have a laser cutter or don't have access to one, there are crash spaces and lots of different places where you can rent time or find someone else to cut for you. It's a great tool, saves a lot of hassle, and you can see you get very accurate cuts. Because you did all that planning in advance, assembly usually ends up being pretty easy. After I had all those pieces cut out, it's literally just gluing them together, and after that, it's shaping and sculpting. So once you have all your MDF pieces cut and laser cut, before molding, casting, getting into that, you have to do the final shaping and sculpting. For this gun, all there really was the front of the barrel, rounding that out. You can't get complex curves when you're doing that layering technique with a laser cutter, so you have to go in with tools after that. The shape, sanding this down, was the combination of belt sander, mouse sander, hand files, whatever works. After that, to get a smooth finish, I'll use automotive filler primer. It's great for getting a smooth finish. You can sand it down. It takes the sanding really well, and like I said, helps you get that smooth finish and ready for molding. Molding is a several stage process, but before you start, you have to, I embedded this one in a clay base, so I could mold each half of the prop at a time. And the first half of the mold, or the first step in the mold, is doing silicone. Silicone will pick up all the detail of the mold. It's flexible, so you need to back it with a mother mold. This was a combination of a few different materials, epoxies, and a product that I don't remember the name of. But Smooth On, if you look up Smooth On, I use all their materials. They have a Plastipaste. Plastipaste, that was the name. But Smooth On carries a ton of molding and casting materials. They have tons of information about their products, tons of resources and tutorials, so if you check them out, it'll help you. So after the mold is done, it's time to cast. I casted this gun to be hollow, as I said, and backfilled it with foam. It's a little more in-depth of a process than that, but that's what Google's for. It's research. Again, and another great tool is this community. As Rachel said, this community is great. Everyone loves helping each other. So if you have questions, you can't find something, ask someone. People can often point you to tutorials or give you information themselves. But yeah, so after the cast is done, I went about cleaning it up, trimming the edges, sanding seam lines, smoothing everything out so that it's ready for painting. And once painted, that's what it looked like. So I just want to thank you and thank Blizzard for bringing me out and having this panel. I'm floored by the amount of people here. So thank you guys. And now I'll let Allison tell you about making larger-than-life costumes.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Allison Trin. So for many of you, this is probably your first time actually seeing my face because, as you can tell, I tend to do larger-than-life costumes. So this is my 5th year cosplaying at Blizzcon. And if you had told me 5 years ago that I was going to be on the stage, part of a panel about cosplay stuff, I don't think I would have believed you. So big thanks to Blizzard for having me here, and a big thanks to you guys for being awesome. So let's jump right into something. Pre-planning, before you get started, some things to remember. How are you going to get your stuff to your convention? So if you need to take a 21-hour road trip to California, for example, you probably want to know that before you get started, so you can plan accordingly. Otherwise, if you need to ship it, shipping does get expensive, so please budget accordingly, make informed decisions. Next, we have personal safety. Lorraine talked about a little earlier, safety while making your costumes. I want to talk about safety while wearing your costumes. So these are very intensive projects and very hard to wear. They're hot, they're heavy, they're a test of your endurance, truly. So let's go over a few things that'll make your experience easier. So we have fans. Please, if you can install fans in your costume, please do. It truly helps. Stay hydrated, stay safe. And most of all, if you can, find a dedicated handler. This is huge. These people are truly the lifeblood of these costumes. Yep. Thank you. Truly, thank you to the handlers. They make sure that you don't actually walk into the fountain outside. Next, how to fit a mere human body into a large costume. So, as you can tell, I'm not a gorilla. So my shoulder span is only so big. Winston, though, is pretty big. So when you have to build a costume out that much, you're going to have some rubbing points. You're going to have areas that you're going to be touching all day. If you need to brace or pad your body in any way, please do so. It'll make it so much easier for you to wear. Now, let's move on to a topic that's really close to my heart. Okay. Proper time management. I know it's probably not the most exciting thing to talk about, but it's very important. So, we have traditional approaches, waterfall. This is more of a big design up front technique. So with this, you break out every single step of your costume. Give it a time estimate, when you need to get it done. This is great if you've actually had any sort of experience making these costumes. But what do you do when this is your first time building something? Well, we have agile approaches. Now, I have to say, I am a certified Scrum Master and Scrum product owner, so I tend to be a little biased here. With agile approaches, you break out your project into smaller and smaller pieces until you can actually estimate it well. Maybe you don't know how long it's going to take for you to make a giant monkey body. But you could probably figure out how long it's going to take for you to make little hoops and then drape it over. That being said, if you can't change the time frame of your project, you have to be able to adjust the scope. So be okay with cutting out those fun features that might not necessarily be essential to your costume. Now, after this, let's talk about what I actually do. So I tend to do hoop-based bodies. There are many ways to do this. This is what works for me, and here is a few examples why. It's easily scaled. Since you're making essentially giant clown pants, if you need bigger hoops, make a bigger hoop. If you made it too big, cut some off. It works. From there, you can drape some fabric over it, sew it into pockets so you get that form. Next, because you did do this like that, it's actually collapsible into itself, so it's easier to transport. It's collapsible. So, and next, going back to my personal safety point, it's hollow, so you can install fans for proper air circulation. So this is actually the body of Winston. So if you see in the chest there, I have 4 fans installed. It keeps me cool during the day. It makes it easier to wear. So eventually, after you do that, you drape the fabric over it. You add some upholstery foam, some fabric, some armor. You go from that to a giant monkey. Next, let's talk a little bit about adding a head to your costume. So I've actually used 3 different techniques in the last 3 years. We have plastic canvas. So you wrap this around your head, cut out some eye holes, slap some upholstery foam on it, and eventually you get a giant walrus. This is actually the head that I used for Tusky the Tuskar back in the day. But unfortunately, this material does fatigue over time. It's not very durable. It is lightweight though. Next, we have balaclava techniques. So balaclavas, also known as ski masks, these are easily, you can add articulation points for your jaw very easily since it's very tight-fitting to your face. That being said, since it is tight-fitting, if you have any skin issues at all or don't like things touching your face, you won't be able to remove the inner liner of this head, so you're not going to be able to wash it. So plan accordingly, make informed choices. Next, and what I used this year, resin or fiberglass. This scary photo is actually Winston's face without skin on. It's horrifying, I know. So this is a great material if you need something sturdy. So if you're doing advanced animatronics or other really cool stuff, then it gives you a nice base to work on. That being said, it is also the heaviest out of these 3 options. So it will fatigue over time, your neck. Plan accordingly. Make informed decisions and choices. And before I pass it back to Kiki, I just want to say thank you for everything that you do. Keep going, keep trying, and most of all, if you do choose to do one of these projects, keep in mind that passion will get you started, but perseverance will truly get you across the finish line. So, thank you.
Thank you, Allison. All right, guys. So, you guys are amazing. Just the cosplay that I've seen this year alone, my jaw hit the floor so many times, I'm pretty sure it's bruised. I have no idea how the judges were able to pick a winner yesterday, but somehow they picked a winner out of all of you amazing cosplayers. So without further ado, I'm about to bring on stage your 2015 Blizzcon Cosplay Contest winner. Give it up for PA, also known as Papa Cosplay. Whoa, look at this thing. It's amazing. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell us where you are joining us from?
Yeah, so hello everyone. My name is PA. I'm from France, and I'm here as a space marine from StarCraft.
Whoa. Let me just say, this thing is amazing. The more I look at it, just the better it gets. How long did this take to make?
So it took me around 1,000 hours.
Whoa. Okay, so I'm sure a lot of people out there are wondering, was there a particularly difficult piece for you to craft or something that gave you a hard time, anything like that?
Yeah, especially the torso, because usually in leather armor I can do paper patterns, like for the arms and head and legs. But on the torso, with all the volume and round shapes, I had to first do the whole costume in foam. So I had already, I had a first cosplay in foam, and since I wanted to do it in leather, I swapped to leather after.
Well, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that are wanting to start cosplaying. Do you have any tips or words of advice or inspiration that you'd like to share with them?
Well, my first leather armor was last year as a Ground Stalker from World of Warcraft with moving eyes and stuff, and that was my first attempt with leather. So if you just want to do something, you can find anything on internet. Like, yes, there is a lot of people doing awesome tutorials, and you just have to try, and you just have to, well, take some time, just save some time to try and stuff, and you can, well, do everything.
Awesome. All right, and before we let you go, is there anyone out there that inspires you or motivates you to keep going and keep cosplaying amazing things like this?
On those leather armor, yeah, definitely. He's called Prince Armory. He's from United States. And I first saw his, well, my first Blizzcon was 2010 here. And I saw one of his creations, like a white paladin. I had no idea where it was from this guy, but 3 years later, I saw the leather Aquaman, and when I saw this medieval Aquaman, I wanted to do leather armor, and that's why I did the Ground Stalker. And for this year, I was more going for an Overwatch costume. I'm a robotics engineer, so I was more into like robotics costume. And then he made this Darth Vader medieval armor, and so I wanted to do a new leather armor.
Well, this is amazing, guys. Give it up for him. This is your 2015 contest winner. I can stand right here. All right, guys. So we have some time available. We're going to be doing a Q&A. If you look over here, we have a staff member with a microphone. So if you have any questions for us, just pop on up, and we will do our best to answer them for you.
The camera. Oh, okay. And I'm going to... Getting up close. Hi, I just want to say all your cosplays are amazing and inspiring, and I've been cosplaying for about 4 years. I'm a little upset I didn't today. Electronically speaking, are there any tips and tricks or tutorials that you guys have used for someone who does the fabric pieces and the molding, but not so much on the electronics?
Like I said from the start, this community is amazing. There's a lot of people who provide different information through PDF books or downloadable books, that kind of thing. A friend of ours who's actually here right now, Svetlana, Kamui Cosplay, you guys have definitely seen all her costumes the past few years. I know she has a book about LEDs and electronics. I've used it, I've learned from it, so that would be my first recommendation.
Name of the book?
Svetlana's awesome LED book. That's what I call it.
Oh, yay!
We're going to have it right there. There you go.
Look up Kamui Cosplay.
Yeah, Kamui Cosplay.
Thank you.
Hi, couple questions. First off, on average, what is the price range of a cosplay costume?
Well, okay. So the thing about price range is it's going to vary with every single costume. I mean, if you look at the costumes that you see up on screen right now, there is going to be a wide gap between the price range on those costumes because of the materials that you use. Some require rigs, some require tons of fabric or leather, and then some of them require advanced electronics or animatronics like you see on Winston. So that's really going to change the price depending on what you want to do. But as a lot of the panelists said, that's why it's so great that we have this cosplay community, because you can ask somebody who's done a giant space monkey, how much did that run you? And they can give you a guesstimate about what it would cost if you want to be a giant space monkey.
All right, second question. if I'm gonna have like a tail that drags on the ground on my costume, what kind of material should I use to protect the underbelly, as it were?
Well, seeing as I had a lumpy space alien butt last year, I used some reinforced cardboard actually with about 12 wheels underneath, so it kept it lifted off the floor, and that way I did have some clearance, and the actual fabric that you see there wasn't just dragging across the entire convention.
All right, thank you so much. I may have to get back to you and like write it down somewhere.
Absolutely.
Also, if you see him walking around anywhere, let me know. I'm looking for him.
All right.
All right, hello guys. It was awesome seeing most of you, at the contest last night. My question is for the fans that you would put into the costume. Do you guys normally like rig that up yourself, or do you break something? Like, that's how I would normally go about, is break something and then put it in, but that sounds a little dangerous.
So, like I said, I had 4 fans in Winston this year. So those were just the normal USB-powered computer fans. I think they were about $5 or $10 on Amazon. So those are great. They also offer water-evaporated fans there as well for about the same price.
I guess along the same lines of like electrical, so maybe for you, Jordan, how do you go about installing the lights in yours? Do you have, do you do all the electronic stuff yourself, or do you hire somebody?
Yeah, I do I do my electronic stuff myself. I haven't done, to be honest, a ton of in-depth electronics, but it all depends on the kind of LEDs you use, whether you're using strips or single LEDs. So it's kind of a project-by-project basis. But again, look up tutorials. There's tons of resources out there where you'll be able to find more specific information about what the lights and the pieces you want to use.
All right, awesome. Thank you, guys.
Hi guys. So as you said, like these costumes can take hundreds of hours, if not 1,000 hours to make. So what do you guys do to keep sane during that time?
For that, a lot of Netflix. We do a lot of Google Hangouts and talking to each other, so keeping up with the community. Yes, Google Hangouts. They're wonderful. Keep talking to other people, but yeah, a lot of music, a lot of movies. I've seen just about every TV show at least 5 or 6 times.
Support each other. I have called her multiple times. She's my family. I've called my other sister just in tears, like, I'm not going to do this. And they're like,
you
no,
can do it.
Keep at it. Or like she said, Google Hangouts. I'll go into a Hangout just completely defeated. And I'll reach out to my fellow cosplayers and they're like, no, keep at it. Just keep doing what you're doing. And you guys inspire me. So thank you.
I will say, if you find yourself you're going nuts and nothing is helping, feel free to take a break. That's your body telling you need to stop and take a step back. And it's important to recognize when that point comes, because believe me, I have had that problem. And that's what I had to do to solve it. Just take a step back, take a breather, and then come back to it later.
Okay, thanks.
My husband and I love the cosplay kits. We absolutely think they're fantastic, and we were wondering if we could get like more non-humanoid shaped ones, because giant robot spider wasn't one of them.
Honestly, these are brand new, and we're expanding our arsenal, and the more characters we can get together for these, I'd love to hear feedback on what kind of characters you guys would like to see. So please send it my way.
Definitely more of the robotic ones would be fantastic.
Great. Awesome, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Hello.
I would just
Cosplay problems.
Yep. I would just like to make a plug for the Facebook Blizzcon cosplay group. It's a great place to ask tons of questions. And my question for you guys is, after doing several cosplays, is there anything you won't do anymore, like any costume prop or something, or is it still anything goes, comfort level or otherwise?
So the one thing, truth be told, that really scares me is anything that I would have to wear stilts for. it goes back to that personal safety thing. So if you have a chance of tripping or falling off of something, that adds an additional element to it. In addition to that, heavy props. I made the mistake of rotocasting a large sword last year, and I didn't have a dedicated handler for most of the day. So by the end of BlizzCon, I was exhausted. So lightweight stuff, lightweight, good.
I'm gonna add heels to that, because I made an Izan costume about 2 years ago, and the heels were very large, and it's terrifying. Don't do it.
Thank you. Hello. I have two questions. One for PA. I was wondering exactly how much leather did you use in that costume?
5 cowhide.
5 cowhides. Wow. Okay, that's amazing. That's expensive.
Yeah, the leather, all the raw leather was around 570 euros.
Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of the equivalent you can find here. That's pretty awesome. Second question, I was wondering, I know when Warbler came on the scene, it was kind of like a game changer. I was wondering individually, what is your favorite material to use when crafting?
I love craft foam in all of its iterations, whether it's the more lightweight or like the floor mats, but I also do have a soft place in my heart for Warbler because that stuff is amazing.
Oh, I think I will go for leather. Yeah.
For me, it's a toss-up between anything cloth, I love my sewing machine, and Warbler. It's just so easy to use.
I'm gonna go with cloth as well. That's my main love, and my newly discovered friend, the craft foam. I love this. Oh, so good. EVA foam.
I think it's good to be versatile and try out different materials, get experience with, because there's no one perfect material for everything. As Lorraine said, you know, her chest piece was a few different materials, kinds of materials combined, and being able to have that experience and have that flexibility, and really choose what's best for each piece is way better than being like, okay, I'm gonna use Warbler for everything. It just allows you to be a little more versatile.
Okay, so I think I like cloth and leather. Leather is like cloth. It works similarly in some ways. So, and of course the foam. I like foam. Foam is good.
Well, thank you very much. That's all I had to ask.
Thank you.
Hello. I've been here, this is my second year. I went as Green Janie yesterday, and I worked with foam last year and made a big hat. My question is, how do you get yourself a handler?
Make friends. But the cosplay community is a great resource. As a couple questions ago, she said the cosplay discussion that is up on Facebook, I saw several people reach out on there and say, hey, is there anyone who can help me out? Or just, asking that simple question, I need some help. Is there anyone available?
We had quite a few people say, oh, I didn't finish mine in time or whatever. Does anybody need help? Just, yes, please help me. Absolutely. We're all here for each other.
Also, smooth talking helps, just kind of ease them into it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, by the way.
Yeah, everybody I know either thinks I'm nuts or they don't are into cosplay. But thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there. Premièrement, merci Papa pour toute votre inspiration. C'est vraiment super. J'apprécie vraiment.
You're welcome. De rien.
Sorry for the broken French. My big question is for the projects that went horribly wrong, like catastrophic failure. How did you finally figure out you needed to pull the ripcord, you needed to just go, screw it, I'm wearing jeans?
It was kind of like a sanity check. It's when you're doing it and you find yourself more upset or just not happy with the idea of being in that outfit, because for me cosplay is fun and I enjoy every second of it. So if I'm staring at a potential costume going, there's no way I'm putting that on, I'm just gonna hate walking around in it, and I go, you know what? Then I probably shouldn't be doing this right now. I'm just gonna call it and we'll try something else, or maybe we'll just give this a break and come back to it.
What is the first thing that you, or what is the kicker? Like, is there one piece of Is it safety? Is it mental health?
It's
what is the
happiness?
Yeah.
When your happiness is gone, call it.
Yeah, when you stop having fun doing it, that is your red flag right there that you need to stop.
Then what do you do with the pieces that you've already made?
Bonfire.
Sacrifice them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got a question for Mr. Marine. All the detail is amazing. Can you talk about how you did all the filigree work? Is it leather tooling or?
Yeah, everything is leather tooling, and the difficulty was to decide how many should I put in the costume to still be the Space Marine, and what shape should they have. So I tried to go for some kind of tentacle stuff to match the Zerg and Terran history.
Okay, cool. And is it leather painting that you did on top of it? Leather paints?
Dye, leather dye, yeah, everywhere.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, guys, that looks like it's it for the questions. We just wanted to say a big thank you again for coming out and supporting all of us. It means the world to us. And give yourself a round of applause. You guys are so awesome. Again, I'm just floored by the talent that is out there. Before we let you guys go and say goodbye for good, please check out the Dark Moon Fair. There are some professional cosplay photographers and screens in there. You can make your own GIF and do the 360 cam. I recommend that one. If you want to speak to any of us after the panel, we are going to be alongside the stage, and Jordan will be at the Razor booth. So again, thank you. We love you. Keep doing it. Have an awesome BlizzCon.
Thank you for attending the Art and Craft of Cosplay panel. Up next, the cutscene behind Blizzard's in-game cinematics panel.